Hey there guys, welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick Monday Night Movie Talk. I can finally say that because it is in fact Monday. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining me once again for a brand new live show. There's a few main movie topics I want to talk about, and as usual, I'll dive into the everything and anything questions that you guys ask, where it gets a little bit scary, but magical and mystical at the same time. And I have my energy drink ready to go. I hope you guys have something tasty and delicious. 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, or maybe some popcorn, whatever you want to do. We're going to dive into it. So what I do ask is for the first 3 topics I talk about, just stay on topic. Like if you have a question, make it relate to whatever topic we're talking about. Then we'll get into the weird and crazy stuff a little bit later. All right. So the big first bit of news is, I don't even, okay, we'll just say it. It's my birthday. It's time to light my candles, Spider-Man. Yeah, so Electro, Jamie Foxx's Electro is coming back to the, Spider-Man 3. I thought once was enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some Jamie Foxx. I can watch Django Unchained 15 times a week. It never gets old. I think he's a great actor. But for me, it's sort of his performance as the villainous Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was a little bit hokey and reminiscent to Mr. Freeze and Batman and Robin. Chill. I mean, it was just really bad. And he looked terrible as well. But he's coming back. So right now, what they're doing is the rumors are they're going to dive into a multiverse with multiple different Spider-Mans. There's talks of possibly Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man returning. And I like that. That gets me excited. I would love to see that go down because the Spider-Man films, so far with the last few with Tom Holland, I thought the first one was okay. The second one it felt like a junior Tony Stark movie. It didn't feel like Spider-Man anymore. And I'm hoping that they step away from the tech version of Spider-Man. I don't need all the Tony Stark gear. It's like, if I wanted Iron Man, I just go watch an Iron Man movie. I want Spider-Man. But with all the multiverse talk, that only leads into Sinister Six, which is an idea Sony was trying to do back when they started to make Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And then Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed miserably, and they sort of gave up on the idea, and then they let Disney borrow Spider-Man for a couple of years to actually establish a character people cared about. The Sinister Six gets me excited. But the most fascinating thing with that and with the new version of Electro is it's a different version. It's a multiverse. So it's like Electro, but now we're going to get a cooler version of Electro, hopefully. A different looking Electro who exists in another universe. So that could be good. It's sort of like, hey, we fucked up the first time, but now we get a redo because of this whole multiverse thing. And I like that. So with the Sinister Six, that means they don't have to have multiple other movies building up to this. They can just dive right into it in the next Spider-Man flick. So, for example, if they want to have Doc Ock in the Sinister Six, well, they can just have a new Doc Ock pop up because we already had that origin story back in Spider-Man 2. So now we just get another version of Doc Ock. And the same thing with Green Goblin. Maybe Willem Dafoe will return as the Green Goblin, but a more comic book accurate Green Goblin who looks less like a Power Ranger. Could you imagine if they actually just went for it? They put prosthetics on Willem Dafoe's face and made him look like the actual Green Goblin. The itsy bitsy spider. Now that could be phenomenal. Or you can have the Lizard return. But the thing that we have right now that we can confirm is, in fact, Jamie Foxx is returning. And he did leak a few things on his Instagram account, and then he deleted it like 5 minutes later, which does lead into the multiverse of Spider-Mans. So that gets me excited. So let me know what you guys think about that down below. If they're going to go one direction with Spider-Man, this is probably the most epic. I hate to use the term epic nowadays, but I'm going to use it. It's like the most epic version of a Spider-Man movie we could probably get that will give the fans everything they've ever wanted to see that we probably never thought we would, but we're getting it. And I think that's what they need to do with Spider-Man to get people excited. And who knows, then maybe they can have Tom Hardy's Venom show up. Anything's possible. So yeah, that gets me going. The next bit of news I want to talk about Well, the first one we have here, we have a Streamlabs donation from Little Wiener. That's a great name. A lot of people have been saying that Jamie Foxx will be playing the same version of Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I really don't think they would do that. Why would they? Why make such a dookie character canon? What do you think? Also, I love you. Well, I love you too. And like I just said, we're going to get another version of Electro, a much cooler version of Electro, or at least I hope that's the direction they're going. Just an Electro version 2.0 that's just less terrible and doesn't have a computer chip in the side of his head. Like he had an SSD card in the side of his head. What was going on there? All right, the next one, we're going to dive into this next question from Alex. The Lion King 2 feels completely unnecessary. It's so obvious that Disney only cares about money. And speaking of Disney and only caring about money, the next main topic I wanted to talk about, and if you saw the thumbnail, I'm sure you could have predicted this. Yeah, we're getting another live-action Lion King movie. Yay! Yeah, facial paralysis lions who can't express any emotion. We're getting that movie. For me, if I wanted to watch live action lions, I would just watch a documentary. I would just watch the Discovery Channel and call it a day. I don't really need a voiceover for that. So for me, the live action Lion King film was the laziest cash grab live action film that Disney has done. Now, the CG looked great. They made lions look real, I guess, but is that what we wanted to see from a Lion King movie? No. Cartoon it up a little bit. Make them... You can do whatever you want. You're creating CG lions. Add some facial expression. Make their eyes a little bit bigger. They don't have to look completely like the animated versions from the 94 movie, but you could kind of blend a little bit of that in there. Or they should have. So we're getting a Lion King 2. Now, I highly doubt that they're basing the new Lion King 2 film on the animated film, or at least I hope they're not that lazy. Like you did it the first time. You literally just duplicated what the first movie did, except you switched things up and they twisted them around to make it even worse with less impact. I just remember the scene. And spoilers, if you didn't already know this, Simba's father, Mufasa, dies. But that scene where little Simba screams, "No!" in the live-action Lion King, I cringed, I cried, and I wanted to leave the theater instantaneously after I saw that. That was the point in the movie where I was like, this just isn't working, is it? It was not. But anyway... Yeah, the director for Moonlight, which won Best Picture a few years ago, is set to direct The Lion King 2. Now, he's a great director. As far as Moonlight goes, it was like a one-watch movie. I'd probably never watch it again. But yeah, I think with him coming in to direct this film, I would hope that he's only signing on... Well, they're either paying him a shit ton of cash to do it, or he has a good story to tell. Like, there's a story that's original and different, and we're going to get something that makes this worth being created, or else it's just another live-action cash grab because the first one did so well. So either way, I don't really have a lot of faith in Disney at this point. But yeah, we're getting another live-action Lion King movie. I don't care. The only live-action Disney movie I want to see coming out is The Sword in the Stone, based on the 1963 truly underrated animated film. Go watch that. It's on Disney Plus right now. It just makes me so happy. I love wizards named Merlin. It's so great. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about the live-action Disney movie here. Reading through the comments here, trying to catch up. Okay, we're gonna dive into delays. Okay, I have one last bit of movie news I wanted to talk about very quickly. And I knew it was going to happen. I think I even said this in the last live stream before this was officially announced. And it happened. 2020 sucks once again. James Bond, No Time to Die is delayed. I knew that it wasn't happening in November. And you can rest assured, any film that they say is coming out for the remainder of 2020, it's not coming out. It's not. It's just not coming out. So, yeah, by the way, No Time to Die, isn't that the most generic Bond title for a movie? I always forget what this movie's called, No Time to Die. I don't know. It's kind of a generic Bond title. Anyway, it's been pushed back to April 2nd. So that's when the new release date for No Time to Die is happening. Like, this is the third new release date for this film. Originally, it was supposed to come out last May. Then now November is not happening, and now we have to wait till April. Just what's the point anymore? All right. So anyway, guys, those were just the 3 quick main movie topics I wanted to talk about. If you guys want to comment, question, leave any things here, I'll read them right now. With all of that said, I will just dive into the questions because I know that's what you're here for. That's all I'm good for, is answering your questions. But that's what I love to do. So, okay. We had one here from earlier. Cliff Boyce. Hey, John, are you going hunting of Bly Manor on Friday? Oh, are you watching Haunting of Bly Manor on Friday? I cannot read. No, I don't even know what that is. So probably not. No. The only thing I'm going to watch is Hocus Pocus. I'm going to watch it every day until Halloween's over. That is it. That's it. Come, little children, I will take thee away. Okay, it's getting weird. Martin Valyik. Watched Rocky IV in the cinema today. Made me want to chop some wood and run up a mountain. Such a motivational movie. So sad cinemas are closing again. Yes, indeed. That was another topic I wanted to discuss. Yeah, cinemas are closing. Because why the fuck would they stay open? If every studio is going to cancel or delay their films until next year, well, why would you open up the movie theater? It's just going to close down once again, which, by the way, by the time movies finally do come out next year, are the movie theaters still going to be there? Can they sustain just waiting another 6 months for new movies to finally come out? And where's the guarantee that those new movies do come out? And if studios keep delaying movies, is there going to be a theater to show them at? In which case, you just have to rely on Blu-ray or VOD. So, yeah, it's just like every step forward that we take 3 steps back. And then someone hits us in the back of the head with a shovel and we fall down the stairs. All right. Yeah, by the way, Rocky IV. Yes, the most motivational movie. Rocky IV is nothing but montage sequences that when I watch that film, I perspirate. That is the best thing I can say about Rocky IV. Oh, the next one comes from Alex. I think Jamie Foxx returning as Electro just sounds very strange. When I saw the announcement, I thought it was something fake from a Marvel fan, but it should be interesting to see how he's used in the MCU. Yeah, I think that's just one of many characters coming back. I think that was just the first one that signed on. I mean, who knows who else is coming back? I truly think the Sinister Six, if Spider-Man 3 isn't the multiverse of Spider-Mans with the Sinister Six diving in, it'll probably be the first part of a 2-part story, which is what I would think they would do. Like, that would be the smartest way to create this film. Just film 2 movies back to back and release one first and then wait a year and release the second part of the movie. I think that would be financially the best thing to do. And especially if it's a Sinister Six movie that needs 2 movies to tell that story. Andrew Smith. I've missed you, Daddy. Well, thank you, Andrew. I missed you too. Lone Tiger. Hey, John. How's your Monday going? Odin told me you had a headache last week, so how are you feeling? I did have a headache last week. I don't know. I think I skipped drinking caffeine for like 3 days, and I started to get the shakes because once your brain's addicted to caffeine and you don't have it for 72 hours, it starts throbbing and pulsating. Your eyes feel like they're bulging into your head and you want to puke up blood. But yeah, I'm feeling fine now. Lone Tiger. What's your view on everything being delayed? Will theaters survive, and do you think Wonder Woman will still hit Christmas? Probably not. I think Wonder Woman will once again be delayed until, I don't know, maybe April? Who knows? Maybe May. If it does come out in Christmas, that would be great. At this point, if Bond can't come out in November, do you think Wonder Woman's coming out in December? I highly doubt it. It's the only major release left this year after Dune got delayed till next year. Yeah, Wonder Woman's getting delayed. I would bet $5 on it. Did I already answer? I already answered Little Wiener's question. Okay, yeah, good. Jarrett Barkley, how do you feel about X-Men in the MCU? What character would you be most excited about? I think X-Men in the MCU could be like, that is a dream come true. Like, if they just go for an X-Men that's not directed by Bryan Singer, where all the X-Men wear leather jumpsuits and it doesn't feel so Bryan Singer-ish, that would be great. That's not to say like X-Men Days of Future Past wasn't I really loved that movie. I think that's probably overall the best X-Men film made yet. But I think in the MCU, for a while, X-Men should be its own thing before they have crossovers with the Avengers. Because X-Men don't need... I don't think they should combine both those universes just yet. And the great thing would be, I would like the X-Men to be in their own universe. And since they're opening up the multiverse of everything in the MCU, they can do anything down the road. But for now, I would just like X-Men to be in its own little universe. Tell those stories. Let's go for it. Let's do things that they never did. Like I would like, and it doesn't have to be exact, but comic book accurate character designs, a little bit more colorful. That's what I would like to see. I think I would like to see a comic accurate version of Wolverine. I loved me some Hugh Jackman, but Hugh Jackman was like too tall and beautiful for the role of Wolverine. I want a guy who's like hunched over. He's, 4'9". He's disgusting looking. I would like to see essentially Tom Hardy gain 85 more pounds, hunch over, and be Wolverine. But he's already Venom, but then again, he was already Bane. I would just like to see Tom Hardy as Wolverine. That's what I would like to see. Will we get that? I don't know. But yeah, I think the X-Men in their own universe would be the best route to go. Because when you start combining X-Men with the Avengers, the things that make X-Men so great and stand apart is they're mutants. But when you put them beside the Avengers, who are superheroes, it's like, so what's the difference between mutants and superheroes anymore? There's no separation. So, but I can't wait to see it eventually happen. Jack Lame, John, you get down here and make... Jack, you're such a cuck. Brevins, Flicks, and Games. Electro and Spider-Man 3 is interesting. No Time to Die getting delayed really pissed me off. But anyway, I've started my third Halloween special. Be sure to shout it out for me, John. Would you for Halloween? Yeah, Brevins, Flicks, and Games has a YouTube channel. He's talking all about Halloween movies this October. Don't get scared now. Yeah, it pissed me off too, Brevin. It really did, man. And thank you for the question, man. Rick LP. Regal is closing. All consumers, why should we care? As consumers, why should we care? Yeah, why would you care? I mean, you can only be, fool me once. Well, how's the saying go? Fool me once, it's on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Either way, whatever. Yeah, you can't get excited anymore. It just feels like a lie after lie. It's like, it's coming out next week. It's coming out next month. It's coming out next year. No, it's not, studio. You're lying to me, and I trust nothing you say. And as far as Regal goes, I actually used to work at a Regal theater years ago as a usher. I did a really shitty job. I usually just, instead of cleaning up, I would just go into a dark theater and turn my walkie-talkie off and watch like Avatar for 45 minutes. And then you're like, whoa, where were you? I was like, I was cleaning. I was taking out the trash. What do you mean? But yeah, they have to shut down. Why would they stay open? There's no point. Hector the Chill Guy. Hey, John, Chronicle or Brightburn? I watched Chronicle once. I thought it was okay. I was never in love with Chronicle like everyone else was. Brightburn was okay. It was sort of... It was the evil version of Young Superman. I got it. I thought it was really well made. But the last 5 minutes of Brightburn, I would have preferred to watch the whole movie Just go that route. Like I hated the buildup, the origin story of the stupid little kid turning evil. Like, and then finally the last 5 minutes where the climax where like crazy shit goes down. I just wish maybe the first 10 minutes of the movie was that origin story, and then we had fun with him being like a super villain. That's what I would have preferred to see. But I thought it was really well made. Jason Black. Hey, John. Kind of relevant, but did you hear Ryan Reynolds has apparently signed on to appear in 10 movies in the MCU? This scares and excites me. It scares and excites me as well. But speaking of Ryan Reynolds, there's a movie that you should watch right now called Waiting on Netflix. A phenomenal, underrated comedy movie that I've always really enjoyed, maybe more than I should. And some of the shit Ryan Reynolds says in that film, they would never say in a movie again. It's just not PC enough. As far as him signing on, I think it pretty much guarantees there's going to be a shit ton of Deadpool movies. He's going to make a lot of cameos in other Marvel films. So it just means you're getting more Deadpool movies, or at least more of the Deadpool character, which I think is a good thing, and I like to see it. Now, some of those movies, they might not be dedicated movies. He might be in another Marvel flick for 20 minutes or something. But yeah, I mean, why not? And then the rumors are that he might sign on to some DC movies to reprise his role as Green Lantern. So anything's possible nowadays. And just to let you guys know, I am answering all of the questions, but I'm about 9 minutes, maybe 8 minutes behind. So I'm going as quickly as I possibly can to answer all of these glorious questions. Patrick John. Hey, John. What's up, mate? No question for me, but I hope you're doing good, man. Well, thank you, Patrick, and I hope you're doing good down under. Patrick is a longtime watcher, listener, and friend of the channel. Nicholas Cadwell. Hey, John. What is your favorite director's cut? Mine is Troy and Kingdom of Heaven, you sack of wine. What does that mean? You sack of wine, sort of like you piece of shit, but, thousands of years earlier. Yeah, I just watched Troy probably for the 98th time on Netflix yesterday, and I believe it is the director's cut of Troy. I like the director's cut of Troy. It's super long. It's almost too long. Some of the scenes, though, I do feel are necessary, and the director's cut of Troy is pretty damn good. There's a few other director's cuts I enjoy. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head. It'll probably come to me in a minute. But the thing about the director's cut of Troy, every scene that they tack back into the movie, like, it looks slightly like the color grading isn't quite accurate to the rest of the movie. Like the scenes that they pop back into the director's cut look like they stand out like a sore thumb every once in a while. And by the way, speaking of Troy on Netflix, let me know if you guys have noticed this as well. It doesn't feel like it's a remastered version of Troy. Like, even watching the opening titles on the Netflix version of Troy, like the text is like shaking, like you're actually watching a film projection of the movie back from 2004 or something. It's not digitally remastered, because if it was, the screen image wouldn't be shaking. So I don't know why, like what version they got or what happened there, but let me know if you guys noticed that as well. But yeah, Troy is, oh God, so good. I love it. Too much. Robert Burton. Not sure what you've covered yet, but Lion King 2 could actually have somewhat of a purpose for existing. They could either improve the original Lion King 2 or do something new. My name is Morgan Freeman. Ooh, I like the way you spelled that. That would be great if they had Morgan Freeman voice a character in The Lion King 2. That would be, yes, Morgan Freeman as the voice of a lion. Please give me that. Please, that's all I ask. Simba, you either get busy living or you get busy dying. I hopefully it does have a purpose for existing. Because if it doesn't, I just can't take it anymore. And I think the director that they're bringing in will hopefully want to tell a story with some substance. That's what I would guess they're doing. Or else the director just wants some money to go do an original project after this. Either way. But thank you, Robert, for the question. Benny, will you be participating in Black Friday this year? If they don't cancel it, they'll probably cancel it. I don't imagine a Black Friday happening. Or if they do have a Black Friday, it won't be like a real Black Friday. It won't be like that all-night spectacle where you go out amongst the unwashed masses and you buy shit that you don't want and don't need to impress people that you don't like. That's not what it's going to be. It's going to be slightly good deals, and the stores will open at normal times, and they'll limit the capacity of people in the store, and there's going to be a line of people wrapping around the store even more so than ever before because you have to have 6 feet between you and another person. So I'm not that excited for it, but if there are some good deals, I'll definitely go check it out. I think the smartest thing this year for Black Friday would be to extend Black Friday for like an all-week event. And I think that would be the logical choice. You know, you can have it from one Friday to the next. That way you can sparse it out and less people have to be in one place at one time. I think that would be the wisest decision. But yeah, I love Black Friday, man. It's just... this year, I don't know. Jordan, thoughts on the XXX franchise? The first one is my favorite guilty pleasure action movie. I liked the first XXX movie. I really liked how they used music from Rammstein in the movie because, like, at the time I was like all about that band. And then I remember XXX 2 State of the Union starring Ice Cube. And I was like, this isn't very good. Though I did like the big lifted truck that he drives in the movie, but it was really cheap. And then you had XXX 3, whatever it was called. I watched 7 minutes of it, and I was like, I just can't look at Vin Diesel anymore. I can't, like, it just doesn't look right. I don't believe what's happening on screen. So those are my thoughts on XXX. Thackeray Binks. Oh, I love it. Thackeray. For many years, the character of Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus, I thought his name was Zachary, but they were pronouncing it with like a lisp. Am I the only one? For like 20 years, I thought that. Hey, John. Thoughts on Crimson Tide? It's one of my favorite thrillers. Also, what is your favorite ridiculous 80s horror movies minus Chopping Mall? I never saw Chopping Mall. Thoughts on Crimson Tide? A good movie. I don't think I've watched it in many years. There is always a slew of like submarine battleship movies from the 90s. There's a ton of those made. Like the Jack Ryan movies or whatever. Yeah, I like Crimson Tide. I probably need to go back and revisit it at some point, but I haven't seen it in many years. I remember liking it when I used to watch it on cable in the 90s. Favorite 80s horror movies? I think Pet Sematary is from the early 90s, but I always enjoyed it maybe more than the first one. It's not better, but I always liked Edward Furlong in Pet Sematary 2. I thought it was just, I've always really enjoyed him as an actor. He just feels like a dude you would know. But as far as like the 80s go, like one of my favorite horror films of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street. I just honestly think that movie is perfection. I love how it's so simple, but it's so effective at the same time. And like one of my favorite scenes in a horror film ever made is the scene where Nancy is in high school and she looks down the hallway and sees the body bag being dragged across the floor. It's like, it still like sends chills down my spine. So like as far as like a B horror film from the 80s, I don't know. Fucking Killer Clowns from Outer Space, man. Rando Commando 41. Hey, John. Great to be back. Colorado was great. Almost got attacked by an owl and almost hit a black bear with my truck. Laugh aloud. Stay awesome. Well, I'm glad you didn't murder a black bear with your truck. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed Colorado, man. Never been. Would like to go. I would like to see I've seen a bear. Why? I was going to say I've been to a zoo. I've seen a bear and a polar bear, but I've never almost killed one with my truck. I almost ran over a raccoon the other day with my car. I literally stopped, went around it going 3 miles per hour. Yeah, I felt bad for the little guy. I didn't want to get out and help him though. What if he bit me and I got rabies or some shit? But hopefully he made it across the street. I had to go to Chipotle. I had no time to wait. Random command. Oh, we just answered that. Cliff Boyce. Haunting of Hill House is now an anthology series, and season 2, Bly Manor, hits Netflix Friday. Looks pretty good. Oh, okay. So it ties in. I see. I knew nothing about what you were referring to earlier. So it ties into Haunting of Hill House. Okay. I'll check it out, man. I liked Haunting of Hill House. I did. I thought some of the episodes kind of ran on a little bit, but I overall enjoyed it. But yeah, okay, cool. I'll definitely look into it. There was another horror film that hit Netflix, and I wanted to watch it, and I forget exactly what it was. Let's just go to the next question. Nev, Africa Dad Mom, how do you feel about Cameron's The Abyss? Never one of my favorite James Cameron films. The ending, though, the director's ending was always really fascinating to me. And I love how, like, there's that huge tidal wave about to wipe out humanity, and then the alien creatures decide that we're worth saving. Yeah, it's good. I liked Ed Harrison in the film, but it was never one of my favorite Cameron flicks. By the way, even if you do love the movie, James Cameron, why is this not on Blu-ray? Why is this not on 4K? What are you doing right now? Oh, I know. Making a whole bunch of Avatar films. That and True Lies. Yet another film not on Blu-ray or 4K. Baffling to me. But yeah, I was always more of a fan of like Aliens, T2, True Lies when it comes to James Cameron movies. Andrew Smith. John, did you watch South Park Pandemic Special? I did not. I have not watched an episode of South Park. Dude, I've watched a few over the years, but I don't really keep up with it on a regular basis. I don't know. I probably could. I just don't. Sometimes I watch the clips on YouTube. I don't know. It's one of the, I think I just kind of grew out of South Park, oddly. I remember being addicted to it when I was a kid. Like every episode, I would stay up late and watch it. But I just have not watched an episode of South Park. I do want to watch it. That would be one episode, especially with the social commentary. I would love to watch it. And I love the thing I always enjoyed about South Park. The creators of South Park, they don't hold back. They're not fucking PC. They'll say whatever they want. That's what I like about them. Like they're only remaining creators who just go for it anymore. They're not afraid. You hear me? I'm not afraid anymore. Oh, hi, Mark. 4 DeLoreans in 1955 at once. The one from 1985, the one Biff stole, the flying one they took back to Biff in 1955, the one in the cave from 1885. Uh-huh. Yes, and the one right here, but right beside me. The batteries are dead, or else that would have been better. Yeah, there's a lot of DeLoreans. Are you saying that they're technically left in those time eras, those time periods? So now there's like DeLoreans just sitting around. Is that what you're saying? Or I thought they all went back and were. I don't know what you're saying exactly, but yes, a lot of DeLoreans, man. James, hey John, do you have a favorite Jack Nicholson movie? For me, it's The Joker and Batman 1989. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. Probably The Shining would be, I think, overall Jack Nicholson's one of his greatest performances. But I would say if you want to go to a recent movie, I think Jack Nicholson's performance in The Departed was amazing. Like the scene where he's just sitting there with DiCaprio and he has a severed hand in a bag. Fucking great. It's great. Jack Nicholson had a screen presence about him, like an utter insanity vibe. And that was one of the greatest things about Jack Nicholson. That's why he could just be great in any movie. Even though he was in some bad ones, but also, yeah, maybe The Departed is my favorite recent Jack Nicholson film, but that was 15 years ago. I wish he'd do another movie or two. I really do. J McDonald 150. Been on a big Jackie Chan marathon, so what's your favorite Jackie Chan movie minus Police Story or Dragons Forever? My favorite Jackie Chan flick is probably Rumble in the Bronx, because that was almost my introduction to Jackie Chan. Now, I believe before that, I did see some of his earlier movies, like on HBO, and I would say A Police Story is probably one of those. But the first time I saw Jackie Chan on the big screen was back in '95 when Rumble in the Bronx came out, and I was just blown away by it. Like, everything about that movie, I was like, this is great. Like, he jumps on a hovercraft by the end of the film, and then they showed the outtakes during the credits of the movie where he actually broke his leg doing that. So I would say, yeah, Rumble in the Bronx, even though the dubbing for Rumble in the Bronx is atrocious, but I think that adds to the charm of the movie. And thank you for the question. DJ Run 01, thoughts on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I just watched that. Is that on Netflix right now? I just watched that the other day. I didn't watch all of it. I typically never do. When it comes to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I remember watching it in the theater when it originally came out, and I knew it wasn't good, but I was like slightly entertained by it. I really liked the Jekyll and Hyde character who turns into something that looks like a big veiny something. He almost looks like he looks like no, it's not. It's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then he goes up to the antagonist version of that. The one guy drinks all the potion or whatever it is, and he turns into like a big veiny fucking. He looks like a zit that wants to pop. He's all red. What was that character's name in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Anyway. Yeah, I like it. It was one of the biggest box office failures of all time. I like Sean Connery in the movie, though you can tell he doesn't really want to be there. But I liked it. It's not great. I usually only watch half the movie, and then I give up and go to sleep. It's like one of those go-to-sleep movies that you watch. So, yeah. Dazer 21. You know I can't read. Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows series? No, I have not. I've not seen it. At least I don't believe I have. So I have not seen it, man. I'm sorry. Van Daminator 00. I started watching your videos when I used to have to get up at 5 a.m. for 6 a.m. wrestling practice over Christmas break when I was a freshman in high school. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for that. I once was I did wrestling as well in middle school and the early part of high school. I never had to wake up early, though. We always had wrestling practice in the afternoon, and I always fucking hated it. I hated it more than anything. Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you for that. That's dedication. I appreciate it, man. You just thinking about wrestling practice made me go back. I always remember running, and then we had to set in a sauna to lose weight. Ugh, just terrible. DJ Run 01, biggest plot hole that bothers you. Biggest plot hole that bothers me? Questions like that off the top of my head drive me crazy. There's probably so many, dude. I'm trying to think of one. There's a few plot holes in Endgame that didn't add up, but the movie was good, so I sort of forgot that they existed. That's a great question. I'm going to Google this because off the top of my head, my brain is not going to. Let's see. Biggest movie plot holes. Let's see what we come up with. There's one on here for The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. In The Karate Kid. Daniel LaRusso cheats, but he still wins. No one knows how that happened. And also in the film Over the Top, the ending contest doesn't make any sense either. It's a double elimination tournament, but the one guy only gets eliminated. He only loses one time, but somehow that didn't make any sense either. Some of these ones are just reaching a little too hard on here. Yeah, I'll go with those two right now because I don't want to read through these articles. But yeah, I know there's a few others that always drive me crazy, but right now I can't come up with them. Nicholas Cadwell, thoughts on Kingdom of Heaven and Cliffhanger? I love Cliffhanger, I really do. So underrated, no one talks about that. And that movie did really good when it came out. Kingdom of Heaven, I've always enjoyed. I love epic films with a huge scope. When it comes to like Ridley Scott films, Gladiators, that's my jam. But Kingdom of Heaven's good. You have to watch the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. It's far superior in my opinion. And I like Edward Norton's character in the film, whose face is like being eaten away. But as far as Cliffhanger goes, I remember my grandparents always had they had 20 VHS movies. And that was one of them. And I'd rewatch it over and over all the time. Azim the Dream Reviews. Do you think The Dark Knight... And by the way, real quick, they actually for years they wanted to make a Cliffhanger sequel. For many years, and it just never came to fruition. Azim the Dream Reviews. Do you think The Dark Knight had a standalone ending, or does it set up The Dark Knight Rises? I noticed that a lot of second films in the movie trilogies set up the third one. I think when they went to make the Dark Knight, Nolan was like, okay, this will be the last one. I have no intention of really going to make a third one. So he left it off on sort of almost a down note. And that's what I liked about The Dark Knight. It's like it didn't have that happy ending. But with all that said, I have a conspiracy theory about The Dark Knight and the way that it ended. I truly do, and I this has never been confirmed. I don't think anyone else has even speculated on this, but something about the third act of The Dark Knight, I feel like they tweaked things or changed things due to the death of Heath Ledger. Now, hear me out for a second. Originally, the plan was to have Harvey Dent's story carry over into The Dark Knight Rises. That was the plan all along. But I think during production, they wanted to wrap his story up and have him die. And I feel like that was due to Heath Ledger's death. I truly feel like they rewrote the script to make that happen, because that scene where Batman confronts Harvey Dent and then they fall off the side of that little skyscraper that's like 20 feet high, and Harvey Dent dies, but Batman just sort of gets slightly hurt. I just thought that was sort of underwhelming in a way, and it felt like they kind of did it at the last second. Maybe that's just me. I've always felt that way when I watch the movie, and that's just my conspiracy theory on all of it. But I truly feel like the original idea was to expand and keep going and have a slightly different ending to that movie. That's all I'm saying. Tom Brady, thoughts on Point Break remake? I thought it was much better than the original. We need more remakes like that. Tom, I'm going to take you. I'm going to grab you by the ears and go, no. I know you're kidding, though. Yeah, watch my review for... I'm rubbing my nipple. Watch my review for the Point Break remake. Ugh. Just that right there, like that Point Break remake is the perfect example of everything wrong with a remake. It's pointless. It's boring. It doesn't do anything better. It's sterile looking. It has no charisma, and they just hired like cheap actors that no one cared about or couldn't carry the movie. Alex, with Dune now slated to come out the same day as Batman, October 1st, 2021, do you think it's more likely that Batman would get delayed until at least 2022? I didn't even know Dune was being pushed back that far. They're pushing Dune back almost like 6-7 months? Really? Fuck. Is that okay? Well, I would imagine if every movie right now is being delayed, and currently I think the production of the Batman is sort of on hiatus, or it was a few weeks ago. Yeah, I would imagine the new Batman flick gets delayed as well. It's only a matter of time, or hopefully it doesn't, because if everything returns to normal, coming back out with its original release date would be great. Now, competing with Dune coming out the same day, I think that would be beneficial to one of those movies to switch it up, because aren't they the same Are they both Warner Brothers? Is Dune Warner Brothers? And is I know the Batman's Warner Brothers. I don't know. Is Dune Warner Brothers? I don't remember. That wouldn't make any sense. So yeah, I could see one of those release. But then again, who knows? Maybe Dune's release date will change 5 more times. DJ Run 01, best joke you know in your Morgan Freeman voice. What do you call Batman when he leaves church? Christian Bale. That's terrible. Lone Tiger. Will Trump finally start believing in masks now? Laugh out loud. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he will, or maybe less so. Who knows? He did make a video where he's like, now I understand it more than before, which is kind of scary that he didn't understand it in the first place. That's all I'm saying. Nev African Dad Mom. Was Poltergeist directed by Hooper or Spielberg? Good question. So as far as that film goes, well, originally Hooper was supposed to be the director, but I think Spielberg stepped in and pretty much took over because he wasn't doing his job, if I remember correctly. So more or less, it was more of a Spielberg movie, I think, by the end. But yeah, Poltergeist, that's a film that I have not watched in a long time. I always remember Poltergeist, I believe it, Mommy, I'm in the light bulb. But I always remember Poltergeist 2, and it's the creepiest scene, but no one ever talks about it. It's the scene where it's broad daylight and the weird, creepy old guy walks down the sidewalk up to the porch, and he's looking in the door and he's like, let me in. Let me in. Just the creepiest shit ever, man. That's, ugh. Yeah, that for some reason that scene always stuck with me. And every time it was like a sunny day out and I lived at a house that had like a screen door, I always imagined like an old guy coming up there saying that. That's why I always kept a shotgun beside the door just in case that ever happened. That's not true. Lone Tiger. Hey, bud. When is the new podcast and Q&A coming? No pressure, wink. As far as the new Patreon podcast and Q&A, I'll work on it maybe tomorrow or the next day. So one of those 2 days, it probably Tuesday or Wednesday for the podcast. But I can do the Q&A for Patreon tomorrow. So yeah, look out for that. I will record it. I was just busy for the last few days. By the way, I'm 12 minutes behind in the questions. You guys know I get crazy and weird and I start rambling off. But I've been busy. I was making another video today that should be up in a few days. And I'll talk about that a little bit later because there's a giveaway contest that I want to tell you about because I want you guys to win it. All right, the next one comes from Tyson Sherborne. Your favorite quote from the classic Roadhouse. Pain don't hurt. One of the best lines ever given in a film. And it's not true, but I get what Dalton was saying. Yeah, pain don't hurt from the classic Roadhouse film. Fucking great. Oh, actually, no. My favorite quote from Roadhouse is, I can't say it or else this might get demonetized, but it's where the villain of the film says, I used to blank guys like you in prison. Like, is that where... I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't say that in a fight. Or maybe I would. It would scare people. Sean Brown. When you read someone's question and say, hey, John, you sound just like the T100 when he says John Connor's name. Is that intentional? Hey, John. I guess it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was never intentional. But if you want to think it was, then fine. I'm a cybernetic organism. July 7th, 1997. The machines come aware. The next one comes from Jordan. What's the worst wrestling finisher? Fuck. Worst wrestling finisher? I don't know. The People's Elbow is one of the worst best finishers ever. Like, it's the most bizarre, over the top bullshit that's ever happened, but at the same time, it's so theatrical and amazing to watch. But as far as like the worst finisher, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know. One of my favorites is probably Stone Cold Stunner and Brock Lesnar's F5. I never was a fan of Mankind's Mandible Claw. I always thought it was sort of underwhelming to watch. DJ Run 01, movie that immediately cures your depression. Oh gosh, movies that take me to my happy place. Movies like Superbad. Usually comedy movies always the cure for some depression, right? Movies like Kingpin, Wayne's World are good cures for depression. Movies like Clerks, probably those movies. Trying to think of anything else that really just takes me to a happy place. Actually, gosh, I can't say this anymore because it sort of does make me depressed. I was gonna say Hook. The film Hook always took me to a happy place, but now I think about the late Robin Williams and I'm like, oh, I'm sort of sad again. But either way, Hook is still a fun, fantastical film, and I enjoy watching it. Maybe those movies. I know there's a ton of other films. What else is there? Let me look back at my movie collection for a second here. I can't even see any of them. They're too far away. Let's just go with some of those ones I just said. If you're going to talk about Halloween movies, Hocus Pocus takes me to a happy place. That'll cure depression. Oh, hi, Mark. You know Scorsese directed M. Jackson's music video Bad, right? Did he direct Bad? Did he? I don't know about that. I did just watch the making of Thriller the other day, and that was really interesting, the way they actually put that music. That was a 13-minute music video. Think about that. And it's still like the best music video ever made, in my opinion. Michael Jackson's Thriller, in my opinion, is the best music video ever made. Craig Thompson. I've been buying my movies on Vudu or Apple and just buying physical copies that I really need. I still support movies, just don't have the room. You think that's the future of movies? People have been saying that's the future for a long time, digital versions of movies, and that's fine if you want to buy it. If you don't want the physical copy, you do it a room. Okay, so be it. I do, though. Unless I own the physical copy of a movie, I don't feel like I truly own it. Because that digital copy, you're saving it somewhere on a hard drive or SD, whatever you're doing. I just feel like that's so temperamental. It can just accidentally just get deleted or corrupted. And it just doesn't feel the same. For me, there's a ritualistic experience about a physical copy of a movie. You go to your shelf, you look at the artwork, you open up the case, you smell it, you taste it. I do. Don't judge me. Then you take it. You take that optical disc out, you pop it out, and you go, ooh, it's shiny. And you put it in there, and you push play, and you sit down, and you made a commitment with that movie. You made a commitment to watch that movie, and I stand by that. That's why I like physical media. Plus, they're all on my shelf. They're always going to be there. I have a library of movies over there. And plus, I just like looking at them. Like, I like the visual experience of looking at them. I hope I answered your question. I feel like I was just ranting. And that's why I'm utterly insane. Claudio Rogajan. Did you see Jamie Foxx's deleted Instagram post showing himself as Electro and the 3 Spider-Man actors standing next to each other? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. And that's where the speculation comes for the multiverse of Spider-Man, because they had the 3 different Spider-Mans with Electro's glowy blue face up in the clouds. Yeah, I did see that. And then he took it down, I would imagine, at the request of the studio. But then again, it was the best marketing tactic he could do to get people excited and hyped up about the new Spider-Man movie. So, yeah, I did see it, and it excites me. By the way, Claudio, I did answer your video question that you submitted last week. So look out for that this week, man. Alex, have you heard of Adam Sandler's Halloween movie coming to Netflix this week? I personally think it looks dumb. It seems to me every time Adam Sandler does something great, like Uncut Gems, the next movie always sucks. I think Adam Sandler said that himself. He said if he doesn't get nominated for Uncut Gems or When or something along those lines. He was going to make the shittiest movie ever made, and I guess he did that. When it comes to Adam Sandler Netflix movies, I don't watch them. For me, you only have so many hours in life to live. And I'm not going to spend those hours watching a really shitty Adam Sandler movie. Now, I'll watch a good Adam Sandler movie. I'll go watch Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison, but not this shit. Like Sandy Wexler or whatever the other bullshit he's coming out with. I just can't watch it. Pointless junk. But I do want to watch Ernest Scared Stupid. Speaking of Halloween movies. Nicholas Cadwell. Thoughts on Highlander, Flash Gordon, Pitch Black. Pitch Black saw once. Kind of an instantly forgettable early 2000s movie. Flash Gordon, the original Flash Gordon, wasn't hardcore Flash Gordon fan. And Highlander, I watched the first Highlander with Christopher Lambert. I don't think I saw the sequels. My stepdad was always sort of a sci-fi channel guy, and I remember he always used to watch Highlander movies all the time on TV. I saw the first one. It was great, but I haven't seen it in a while, a very long time. Ermin Jabbar, ever seen Explorers from 1985? If so, thoughts. The Ethan Hawke Explorers with a young not Joaquin Phoenix, River Phoenix. Yeah. Yeah. I have it on DVD. Always enjoyed it. I really enjoy, it's one of those weird movies where I enjoy the first half more than the second half. I like when they create the spaceship out of the carnival ride and they go into space. And then that's where I sort of lost focus once they get to space. I liked the kids hanging out and building the spacecraft. I always thought that was the more intriguing part of the movie. But yeah, that's a movie I could watch again. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I always remember it was on Disney. It seems like Disney always aired that movie a lot in the late 90s. Tyson Sherborne, the best worst director trademarks, fan of you since 2013. Well, thanks, man. Tyson, best worst director trademarks. Let me take a drink of this real quick and I'll answer your question. Well, Quentin Tarantino likes to show feet a lot. The guy truly does have an obsession with feet. Every Tarantino movie, every chance he gets, he likes to show a pair of feet on the screen. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool by me, man. James Cameron also has a weird obsession with feet because there's a lot of James Cameron flicks where he shows a slow motion of feet. But not in the same way Tarantino does it. That's one trademark I've always noticed. And other obvious trademarks like J.J. Abrams' lens flare. Now that's a great trademark that he uses stylistically. I think adds a lot to it. Now he sort of borrowed that from Spielberg, who used to do the same thing. Another trademark, a bad trademark, is like a Michael Bay trademark where explosions look like fireworks and everything's contrasted and saturated to shit. That's one Michael Bay trademark. Trying to think of a few other trademarks from directors. There's so many. It's hard to come up with these deep dive questions off the top of my head at 10 o'clock at night. But can we go with those? I feel like I gave you a sufficient answer there. Beloved Ruby. Imagine John in the bedroom with his girlfriend late at night saying, "Let me in, let me in. Ha ha ha, sorry." What? I would never say that. I would never say that. I would say, "Don't just look at it, eat it." Then I'd flex and turn on my 1980s video camera. DJ Run 01. What classic movie has aged the worst socially? You mean socially, like it's not quite PC anymore? Like earlier I mentioned Waiting. Listen to some of the shit Ryan Reynolds says in Waiting. No one would say that in a comedy now, which is a shame. It's like, I get that it's offensive, but it's like, it's there for the sake of humor. But socially speaking, go back and watch maybe like, I mean, there's classic films that are drama films that definitely do things that they probably would never do today, which is why like Gone with the Wind was being outed for not being politically correct, but it's a movie that came out 60 years ago, man, or longer than that. No, 50, 60, 70 years, 60, 70 years ago. But yeah, I even like in The Breakfast Club, there's things and shit they do in there that they probably wouldn't say in movies today. So there's definitely a few. It's just a lot of terminology is what I'm thinking of. But yeah, but then again, I don't consider those movies aging badly. Like, they are a product of their time. Like, you have to accept that this movie was made 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Like, you just have to accept that. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you watch a movie like Taxi Driver, some of the things and references that characters make, I don't know if they'd put in a movie today. Now, maybe Scorsese could get away with it. Maybe Tarantino could get away with some of the things they say in that movie. But, you know, that's why older films are going to stand the test of time. They're not watered down, regurgitated baby food to please everyone. Like, they were there to please the people who wanted to see that movie. And if they offended the people who didn't want to see it, then so be it. But they were art. And if you can't accept that, then I don't know, don't watch it. But I'm rambling on. Let's get to the next question. Austin Rash, I love it. What are your thoughts on the vampire movie 30 Days of Night and thoughts on Hills Have Eyes remake? The Hills Have Eyes remake is a phenomenal remake. That is one of the truly great remakes of all time. And I stand by this. I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 or 4, the Jessica Biel one, I thought that was a great remake. Like that, they did a good job. So those are two great remakes. I could watch. I think I have The Hills Have Eyes on Blu-ray. I could watch that right now. That would be a good October movie. And plus, it stars Buffalo Bill. Oh, push lotion in the basket. 30 Days of Night. I saw maybe once. I thought it was okay. I didn't have any urge to rewatch it again. I know it has like a cult following. I watched it once. I thought it was okay. Colin, what is the weirdest encounter you had with a fan? Never had a truly weird or bad encounter with a fan. Like in person. No, everyone's been pretty cool. They say, hey, we talk about movies for a minute. Some people want to take a picture. That's cool. No, it's always awesome, man. So weird. I'm trying to think weird. I mean, the weirdest one is probably Alex Leba, but you know, he's a fun guy. I was in his vlog video. So Alex, if you're watching, you're weird, man, but you know that. Patrick, The Breakfast Club is my go-to happy place movie. It gives you everything you want: laughs, cries, self-reflection, and a badass 80s dance montages. Take on Me by Aha. It's the best music video ever made. Yeah, the scene in The Breakfast Club where Emilio Estevez just is dancing, screaming, and he goes into a glass room and screams so loud it shatters the fucking glass. That is pure 80s. I love every second of it. Absolutely. Yeah, that is a happy place movie. I love how all the kids just come together and they start crying like after 2 hours, like sharing their life stories. It would never happen today. Like if kids went to a Saturday detention school, like no one would actually sit there and talk to each other. That would never happen. Everyone would be on their iPhone and never look up once. That's why you could never make a movie like that today. It would not be realistic. James Doshier, thoughts on Batman Forever? You are the best. Well, thanks, James. Yeah, Batman Forever. Saw it in theaters as a kid. I liked it. It wasn't quite the tone I was hoping for because when I was a young kid, I was like, I'm all about Batman Returns. I love the dark, weird stuff with Max and the Penguin down in the sewer coughing up green goo. I'll show my French flipper trick. And then we get to Batman Forever, and it's like Jim Carrey in green spandex and Tommy Lee Jones giving the worst performance of his life with Val Kilmer being one of the most forgettable Batmans. as a kid, I was like, it's sort of entertaining, but I just knew it wasn't great. Those were never the tone of movies I wanted to see. And I was in the demographic for those movies, and I just never loved them. I just didn't. I went to see them because they were Batman movies, but I was just like, there was a disconnect with me. But with all that said, the scene at the end of Batman Forever with Jim Carrey, where he just screams, he goes, ah! That still makes me laugh. Lone Tiger, have you seen any of the last few flicks I've watched? Isle of Dogs, no. Coco, I've seen Coco. Liked it. My Neighbor Totoro, I've never seen My Neighbor Totoro. I've never seen it. I've been told to watch it 1,000 times. I never have. I liked Coco, though. I could go back and revisit that. It's been a while since I watched that. By the way, is Soul still coming out? Because I don't think it really will. Justin Martin. Hey, John. If you needed to choose one Halloween reimagining to exist, would you choose Rob Zombie's? Rob Zombies or Halloween 2017? Personally, I love 2017. Halloween 27, wasn't that Halloween 2018, you mean? I think you mean Halloween 2018, right? I didn't like either. I did not like either one of those movies. If I had to pick one to watch, probably Halloween 2018, because Rob Zombie's Halloween, I saw it in theaters, and the thing I disliked about it a lot was the little kid in the beginning of the movie. It's like, I get it's the origin story of Michael Myers. You're trying to show why he's a sociopathic murderer. But that little kid, I just did not buy for 1 second he grew up to be Michael Myers. I was just like, no, it just didn't happen. I felt so disconnected from that movie. Abinash Mohatni, why American critics get excited whenever there is a new Disney movie. Cinema is supposed to be visionary to tell unique stories. Disney movies have nothing new to tell except for remakes or sequels. Like, I mean, that's sort of a subjective thing. It just depends. A lot of Disney movies are just complete cash grabs. I agree. They're just putting out the same shit over and over again. But there are some newer Disney movies every once in a while that tell something new, exciting, and get your emotions all pumped up and ready to go. I mean, I think Avengers Infinity War and Endgame were two spectacles that, for me, were the movies I wanted to see, and I was happy with those movies, and they gave me the feels. Like, by the end of Avengers Endgame, I had some feels, especially during the Tony Stark funeral scene. I wanted to cry just a little bit. So I feel like it did its job, but I get it. Like we previously mentioned, the new Lion King remake. Halfway through that movie, I was like, I'd rather just go home and watch the animated version. And I think the voice acting was better in the animated version. DJ Run 01, best farting pooping scene in a movie. That's a great question that requires a lot of thought. Off the top of my head, I would say the Jeff Daniels scene in Dumb and Dumber was pretty good, where he's having explosive diarrhea. That was pretty good. Can we just go with that? I'm trying to think of another great scene in a film where there's pooping or farting. And there's got to be a few. Yeah, like, I'll just go with Dumb and Dumber. If you guys have another scene with pooping and farting in it, please comment right now. I know Dumb and Dumber 2 had a scene where, like, he poops all over the bathroom and Bob Saget comes out and says, "There's shit all over my bathroom." Something along those lines. But I'm trying to think of another film. Smell Mundo. What's poppin', Jimbo? What do you think about Hollow Earth theory? Joe Biden is definitely a reptile like the rest of them. We can agree on that. Can you do an impression of Mark Wahlberg talking to a reptilian? You're an absolute legend and true lad. Well, thank you for that. A lot of stuff going on in that question. Where do I start? Hollow Earth? No, I'm pretty sure we have a core in the middle of Earth. I'm pretty. You almost kind of have to have it, or else things wouldn't quite function correctly. Hey Joe, what are you doing over there? You want to smell my hair or something? I don't know. Is that good? I don't. Claudio Rogajon. I think we'll see a Batman Forever director's cut. Do I think we'll see a Batman Forever director's cut? A little too late for that, isn't it? I mean, I think that you're making a joke, I guess, there. But come on, man. Joel Schumacher was a good director. He just made a few shitty Batman movies. So probably no director's cut. But I do want to watch Falling Down. Every time someone talks about Joel Schumacher, I want to go watch Falling Down. I need to buy that on Blu-ray. I can never find it anywhere. Nicholas Cadwell. What movie do you like that everyone hates? What movie do I like that everyone hates? I like Van Helsing. The Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie. It's a big budget piece of shit movie that sort of flopped. Always enjoyed it. I watch it every October because it's sort of like a monster movie. And I just like to watch really bad CG Hugh Jackman. Now I will say it's fun. It's just like really hokey, big B movie fun. The opening scene, like he beats up the Jekyll and Hyde character. And then by the end of the movie, he turns into a giant, really PS2 video game graphic werewolf. Maybe I should review Van Helsing for October. It feels like I should. But yeah, Van Helsing's a movie. Waterworld's another movie I really enjoy that no one seems to really love. And I love it more than I should. I like watching Kevin Costner drink his own urine. Yes, I just said that. Patrick. I don't think The Breakfast Club has aged a day. The film is one of the most accurate representations of how kids talk to each other when adults aren't around. Anyone that gets offended by movies needs to F off. I truly believe you can never go too far. I have always agreed with that as well. I think it has aged. It definitely feels like an 80s movie that feels a little dated. Hey, you know what my old man got me for Christmas? A pack of smokes. Here you go, Johnny, smoke up. Love it. John Bender. The thing about The Breakfast Club is it has each character you can relate to. You can pick a character in that movie and relate to it, or maybe you're a blend of all of those characters put together. That's sort of how I feel. Yeah. I like the way they talk to each other. It's a little forced at times, but still, I really enjoy it. Night King 01. John... Watch in the dark. Okay, I got to read this correctly. John, watch in the Dark Knight Rises opening when Bane and Dr. Pavel eject from the plane. Look closely, and you will see it's just two dummies laugh out loud. Well, at least it's practical. Yeah, like two dummies that just go limp and they just pull them up. Maybe it's not. But I never really noticed that before. But I will say this. I always thought the opening prologue scene to The Dark Knight Rises was like, I get that it's cool and it's a spectacle, but I always thought it was like the most convoluted way to do Bane's plan. I was like, so you're going to you need two airplanes to accomplish this. You're going to suck the blood out of the one guy's arm to put it into the dead body to drop on the ground that somehow people are going to think is the actual Dr. Pavel because he has his blood. But what about like dental records or anything else? I don't know. A lot of there's a plot hole for you. So yeah, I always thought it was really convoluted. I was like, the prologue to The Dark Knight was so much better. Craig Thompson. Thoughts on Leaving Las Vegas? Really great film. Probably one of Nicolas Cage's best performance. Elizabeth Shue in that movie was great. I remember watching it late at night on HBO back in like the year it came out, or maybe not the year it came out, but I remember like 1997 watching it at my grandparents' house. And it has a pretty graphic scene in there. And I think like my grandmother came out when that scene was happening with Elizabeth Shue. And I was like, I'm sorry. And that's what's wrong with me. Smell Mundo. John, my lad, top 3 essential Halloween specials. I'd have to go with Garfield's Halloween, Over the Garden Wall, and Pete and Pete Halloween. The Office Halloween specials are also classic. Watch out for them ghouls and keep your eyes peeled. I will. Yeah, so you just reminded me of Pete and Pete. I forgot that existed. I loved that show in the 90s. Oh, man, I have not watched Pete and Pete in so long. I thought you were going to say like Charlie Brown's Halloween special in there or something too. Over the Garden, I don't think I've seen Garfield's Halloween special, I guess. But speaking of Pete and Pete, I want to go watch Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark right now. I always remember the made-for-Disney Halloween specials. I forget the name of them. So that's no help. But yeah, I'll go with Pete and Pete on that one. That's a good one. Abinash Mohatni, do you have any Criterion movies? Yeah, I have a few. My favorite one is probably Dazed and Confused, the Criterion. I think that's the overall, like, the best looking one, that up the picture quality, and just the case alone. I love the way it looks, and it has like a giant poster inside of it. It's probably my favorite Criterion release. I do want to get the Criterion release of Parasite eventually when it comes out. And by the way, thanks to all 403 of you watching right now. Much appreciated, guys. And yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll keep talking now. I don't even know where I'm at. Hang on. Where am I at? All right, the next one. Joseph Jackson. Favorite Superman action scene? When he snaps Zod's fucking neck, that's pretty cool. I like it. I don't care. I like when he killed Zod. He had to kill him. He had to. He made the tough choice. And that's why I liked that version of Superman more so. That was good. Do you want to go to like the Richard Donner movies? I refuse to pick one from Superman Returns. That movie just makes me fucking tired. Yeah, I liked when Superman fought Zod in an IHOP, and then he fought what's her face in the IHOP in Man of Steel. I also like when Superman carries Richard Pryor. That's a good scene. Or the scene in Superman Quest for Peace, where one of his powers is he puts back up a brick wall. Like, since when was that a Superman power? He just does it visually by looking at it. Must-tag reviews. What should you eat? Pasta, pumpkins, or oyster? You always ask that question, man. I don't know why you do it, but you always do it. And I tell you the same thing every time. Lone Tiger. As kids, it is true that we don't know what a bad movie is until we grow up. No, I don't think that's true at all. I really don't. There are many films I saw as a kid that I knew were bad. And then there are many films that I knew were great and I always liked. And then I grew up and I was like, it's still a great movie. And now I can pinpoint exactly why that is. You know, I grew up on movies like Stand By Me, Point Break, T2, The Warriors from the 70s. And I always enjoyed them as a kid. And then I grew up and I enjoyed them more so because I could understand them a little bit more and dissect them. And so I think sometimes just having good taste, it's just a genetic trait, maybe. The next part is, there are some movies I loved as a kid, but aren't as good as when I rewatch them. Also, maybe we still like bad movies like adults just hate because we liked them while watching them as a kid. I mean, there's going to be some guilty pleasure movies that you like a little bit more just because you grew up with them. I get it. And, you know, there's a lot of movies that I liked as a kid and a lot of people now would say they're crap, or I look back on them and I'm like, I get that they're not a good movie, but I still enjoy them. Yeah, for sure. Claudio Rogajon. In the opening scene of The Dark Knight, when Joker is waiting for his crew to pick him up, you can see the Spider-Man 3 poster in the background. No joke. Yeah, I've always noticed that. That's been talked about a ton, but yeah, it's definitely back there. And the other thing is, if you really want to dissect that scene, when they pull up to pick Joker up and he's standing on that corner with his mask in his hand, did they not look over and see that he had face paint on as the Joker? Like, they just why is that guy wearing face paint? And then he puts his mask on. So interesting, but visually very cool. Patrick, I never used to be a big fan of The Breakfast Club because I thought it was unrealistic. But one day I got detention and my teachers confiscated our phones. All of us were forced to get along. Ever since then, it's been one of, if not my favorite movie. Well, okay, you have a relatable experience to The Breakfast Club. I get it. Every time I had detention, we weren't allowed to talk. Everyone just had to sit there, and I always remember doodling on a piece of paper thinking, wow, I wish this took place in a giant state-of-the-art library in the 1980s where the teacher was in the other room, and each kid in this room had a completely different personality and style. That's what I was always hoping, but no, it was just like 10 people, and they're not talking to each other. But yeah, I get it, man. Hector the Chill Guy. Hey, John, have you seen the live-action Twisted Metal movie Death Race with Jason Statham? I'm Jason Statham. Yeah, you're right. It is sort of a live-action Twisted Metal movie, except without the cool ice cream truck. I did watch the first Death Race. I didn't watch any of the other films. But now that you said that, they should have just made it they should have got the rights to Twisted Metal and made like a live-action Twisted Metal movie. That would have been cooler. Colin. Looked at a video with you and Alex. Weird stuff. Yeah, it is. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. He's a nice guy. Just a little troubled. DJ Run 01. How well do you usually do in bar movie trivia? I haven't played bar movie trivia, but I think I could do well. I think I could do fairly well. Yeah. Especially if it's like an 80s, 90s trivia. Yeah, I think I would do okay. I've always wanted to go play like movie trivia somewhere, but it never found a place. Right now, with everything going on, it probably won't happen anytime soon. Night King 01. I laugh every time Cage flips the poker table over. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I laughed my ass off. I watched The Rock the other night. How in the name of Zeus's butthole did you get out? Like, that line, how in the name of Zeus's butthole, is a line that Nicolas Cage gives in The Rock. Fucking phenomenal. Beloved Ruby. John, you think what I'm thinking. I'm from the bushes, laughing my ass off the other guys. Yeah, you never mess with Gator's bitches, that's for sure. Yeah, I love the other guys. I don't love it. I just lied to you. I don't really love it. I like it. But the best thing about that is Will Ferrell when he starts talking about being Gator. Claudio Rogajon. Superman killed Zod in Superman 2, don't forget. I guess you're right. Then he took his S symbol and threw it at him, and it went 2 miles per hour. Yeah. I guess you're sort of right. A Spectator. I hate people. I am very bitter. What movies would you recommend for my current state of mind? Maybe Fight Club. Or maybe Rules of Attraction, which is based on a novel written by the same guy who wrote American Psycho. And James Van Der Beek's internal narration throughout that film is pretty great if you're feeling a little bit bitter. Yeah, go with that. Mustache Reviews. Christopher Walken as Alfred, please. Then I'll die. You know, Batman, the Joker's out there. Go kill him if you want. or not. I don't care. Yeah, that would be that would be pretty good. But we already had Christopher Walken in a Batman movie playing Max in Batman Returns. Dad, go now. Save yourself. Go now. That's just terrible. Scott Sullivan. Hey, Scott, how's it going? Besides movies in the gym, what do you miss doing pre-COVID? I just hate that Walmart is no longer open 24 hours. It was so convenient. It was my happy go place when I couldn't sleep at night. You know, you had a place to go to be sociable and look at things and hold them or make a video. And now I don't have that. That's what I miss pre-COVID, really, in all honesty. Also, the thing, I miss just being able to walk into a store and not have to like wear a mask. You know, that sometimes I do this probably like 5 times a week. I go somewhere to like the gas station or the store. I walk up to the door and I go, oh shit, I forgot my mask. So I have to walk back to my car to put my stupid mask on to walk into the store. That's another thing I hate. Smellmundo, John, lad, you're a fine lad. Don't let them tell you otherwise. You're a funny kid. What are your thoughts on Sam Hyde? His Adult Swim show got canceled due to the internal conspiracy. Speaking of internal conspiracies, don't think Hollow Earth, think honeycomb. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the Earth has tunnel systems and shit in it. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Still doesn't make any sense. It's pretty solid, I would say. Honeycomb Middle Earth. Yeah, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I think it's a solid mass with some melting lava in the middle, or core. What was the other part of this question? I never saw Sam Hyde, the Adult Swim special. No clue what that is. No clue. But when it comes to Adult Swim, I used to watch the Oblongs. No one talks about that. James Wilkins, thoughts on Bringing Out the Dead? I don't know, man. Never saw it. No clue. Actually, I'll Google it real quick because I want to make sure. Oh, Bringing Out the Dead. Yeah, the Nicolas Cage flick from 99 where he's a paramedic directed. I never saw this, but I know Nicolas Cage, he actually rode around with paramedics for a few weeks to get into the role of this movie. I never saw this. It's one Martin Scorsese film I've never seen. Actually, there's a few others I've never seen. Alan Widegiel. Alan, I'm sorry I can't say your last name. Widegiel? I'll flip ya for real. What the fuck is that from? I'll flip you for real? I don't know what that's from. What is that? Somebody flip you. What the fuck is this? I'm going to watch it. I'm looking at it. Benicio del Toro's.
Yeah, I'm shaking. Come on. Okay. Answer my question.
Can you hit me in the back? Hello?
Okay. Claudia Rogajon, have you seen Alpha Dog? Is it any good? Ben Foster. Yeah, I love me some Ben Foster. That dude knows how to play a crazy, coked out character in every movie he's in, including 3:10 to Yuma, which he essentially plays the same character in Alpha Dog. I've always enjoyed Alpha Dog. I've rewatched it probably 5 or 6 times. Emil Hirsch, based on a true story. I remember seeing it in theaters. What the fuck is... Shut up, YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I always enjoyed it, man. I think if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Ben Foster's character plays a coked out sort of white supremacist character who's also a Jewish character at the same time and a drug dealer, and he's really good at doing karate. So yeah, very, very odd. It's a very good movie. I really enjoy it. I like movies like that. Justin Timberlake, I thought, did a pretty good job in the movie. Yeah, go watch that movie. It's definitely a depressing movie, Alpha Dog. Michael Pacquiao. Were the events in American Psycho all real, all fantasy, a mixture of both? You can take American Psycho however you want. Maybe it's ambiguous. Maybe it's all inside of his head. Some of the events are real. Some of them are not. Some of them are just hallucinations from a man who's utterly insane. Some are real, but the more fantastical elements were just all in his mind. But you can take it however you want. If you want everything in that movie to be real, then make it real. But at the end of the film, it pretty much confirms that he's just utterly insane. But I like to think like 50% of it's real, 50% of it's fake. But there is, I believe, a conclusive answer online if you want to look at it. That's just how I like to take it. Like the scene where he's shooting cop cars and they're blowing up, clearly a figment of his imagination. But that's what makes the movie so interesting. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. So if you guys have any more questions, get them in now. And I'll be back in just a few seconds. So yeah, go refill your popcorn, grab another drink. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. And yeah, just hang on tight. And I'm back. All right, guys, let's keep going with the questions. And by the way, if you're still watching, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot. Because without you guys, it would just be the ramblings of a madman alone in his room at night. And if you guys are watching, if you could help with that thing, the YouTube algorithm, it likes when you push the thumbs up button on the video. That's all I ask. Thank you for that. If you want to, if not, it's okay. But if you were mildly entertained thus far, that's all I ask from you guys. Okay, the next question. DJ Run 01, thoughts on the presidential debate. I don't like to get political in my videos because it's always a lose-lose situation no matter what you say. It's like you got to pick one side, even if one side, if they both make valid points or if they're both terrible. For me, it just feels like you're watching two 70-plus-year-old men who are out of touch with all reality talk about things and saying whatever they can to get the vote. There's just two people who want power to say and do anything they can to get a vote. I don't know. It just baffles me. These are the two best choices we have. Two 70-something-year-old men. Like, this is the best we could come up with. I don't know. I would just like a different candidate who's younger and has some energy, has some good ideas, who truly somebody who wants to change something, or has like a backbone about them and has a vision to make things better, not just kind of keep the status quo of the same shit that's always been the same. For me, when it comes down to like picking either side, I truly feel like no matter what you do, either way, things are always going to be the same. That's how it is. Whatever one president does during their term will be undone by the one after them, and then somebody else will redo it, and then it'll be undone. So for me, it's nothing really ever changes. That's my motto. Michael Pacino, I already answered that. I already answered this. The American Psycho question. Was it all real, a fantasy, or both? So we talked about that. Okay. All right, Michael. Lone Tiger. How do you take your coffee if you drink any? I like cold brew with cream and caramel, but need to calm down on the deadly caffeine so I don't get addicted. It'll be fine. Just drink all the caffeine you want. I don't drink coffee often, maybe like once a month. And that's if I wake up early and I'm feeling like an adult that day. Typically I drink it black, or I have I have like K-cups that have it's like a creamier version of coffee, whatever that's called. I have that as well. Is that a cappuccino? I guess. Alan Woodgill, what's wrong with Woofy? I hear him barking. Woofy's fine, honey. Where are you? Yeah. Click. Your foster parents are dead. That's a great scene. Obed Arzaga, thoughts on the movie The Beach? The Beach is a great film. And Leonardo DiCaprio actually signed on to do that film instead of starring in, I want to say originally he was supposed to be cast in American Psycho, but then sign up for The Beach instead. Or he was supposed to, there was another great movie that he was supposed to do at that time, but he signed on for The Beach instead. I like The Beach. I think the first half is by far the better part. And then it gets a little bit tedious to watch the second half, but just the concept alone is really cool and intriguing, and I enjoyed that. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It looks fun too. I just always imagined going to like this enclosed island beach environment and then swimming in the ocean, and then a shark bites my leg off. Yeah, if you haven't seen The Beach, it's a pretty damn good movie. It's not the greatest. A lot of people actually don't like it at all, but I do. That's a Danny Boyle movie, right? Yeah. Michael Pachinko. Here's the pitch. Over-the-top remake, but instead of arm wrestling, it's a slapping competition. Yeah, those videos, you ever watch those videos? Like two Russian guys slapping each other in the face with baby powder on their hand? It's phenomenal. I could see that being made into a movie one day. I mean, essentially in Over the Top, you have some guys slapping themselves in the face to get pumped up to go arm wrestle. So close enough, right? All right, let me dive into some of the questions here. I'm going to unpin this message here. All right. I'm so glad Leo chose The Beach. Yes, me too. I would much rather have Christian Bale in American Psycho than Leonardo DiCaprio. Man of Steel was not bad, but it is not Superman. Yeah, it's my Superman. It's the version of Superman I actually sort of gave a shit about. For me, that's just, I was never a fan of Superman until really Man of Steel. I keep forgetting this isn't a replay. No, it's not. We're live, man. We are live. You're watching me live. DJ Run 01, how good do you think a Will Smith Matrix would be? Yeah, can you imagine if Will Smith was actually... Well, he was offered the role of Neo in the Matrix. He turned it down, I think, to star in Wild Wild West. Smart choice. And then he also turned down Django Unchained. But he did Bright. that shitty Netflix movie. Either way, yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad he was not Neo in the Matrix. Thank you, Keanu Reeves. Well, what's the best CGI you've seen in a big budget film? I don't think it's the best, but not the best. I think some of the CG, if you want to go like a heavy-handed CG film that really blew me away watching it, the Avatar was good, man. There was some great CG in that film that looked photorealistic. Now, there's some that's okay and questionable. Also, the first Transformers film back in 2007, when I watched it in theaters with my friend, we were geeking out. Like, we thought the fucking Autobots and Decepticons looked great. That was great CG. It really was. So yeah, that's one, or actually that's two. And if you want to go earlier than that, I think if you want to go early, like fairly new use of like CG in movies, go back to Jurassic Park. Like Jurassic Park, when it came out, it blew people away. And I don't care what anyone says. That scene with the T-Rex in the rain when it tears down the fence, that still looks good to this day. Like, it still looks it looks better than most CG in a movie. So yeah, I still think that looks fairly timeless. Not all of the CG in Jurassic Park held up great, but that scene did. Okay. Smell Mundo. John, what are some tips on never changing up? Chris Stuckman is pretty sus nowadays, but what can you do? Say hi to your mother for me and save me some of those bike tire fumes. We keep it grooving. What is happening right now? Yeah, I haven't smelled bike tires in a long time. I haven't been to Walmart lately. Where I live now, like the Walmart down the road is like, I don't like to go into it. It's like a really shady Walmart. I don't like it. What was the question? John, what are some tips on never changing up? I don't know what you mean by that, man. I don't know exactly what you mean. I'd like to be myself, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Mike G, favorite Lathamos movie? Lathamos? I don't know what that is, man. Okay, he's a director. Oh, he directed The Killing, the Lobster. I don't watch his movies. I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm looking here. Yeah, I didn't watch any of his movies. I'm sorry. All right, let's go back into the chat here. All right, guys, I'm going to answer like a few more questions. So if you guys have any juicy, pertinent questions you want me to answer, get them in right now. Like type them, get them in the next 1 minute, and I'll answer everything that you guys put in for the next minute because I'm getting tired and hungry and I want to go eat. Jurassic Park looks better than the modern movies. Yeah, it does. Most modern movies. Because the thing is, nowadays, modern CG, it's like they get lazy. They're like, oh, people already know it's CG, so why do we have to make it look photorealistic? They don't care, and sometimes that's true. People's standards, I feel like, have lowered for movies and storytelling. Back then, they had to make CG look great or make it subtle enough to where it wasn't obvious and blend it. Now it's just like, here's a blatant use of CG. I just got word that the Batman was delayed. I don't think that's officially confirmed. I think that was some rumor and speculation bullshit on Twitter. But they probably will delay it. Give it time. Jurassic Park when the guy was on the toilet. Yeah, that was a great scene. The lawyer on the toilet. Avatar is insanely overrated. I mean, is it? Is it overrated? What's overrated about it? Tell me. I think it's great. I think it's exactly rated as it should be. It's a spectacle event. It's just a fun, immersive ride to go on. If you want to say some of the acting is not great from Sam Worthington, yeah, I agree with that. Is the story sort of a little bit hokey at times? Sure. but I enjoy watching it. It's just a visual eye candy experience. It's a popcorn flick, and I like it. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. I want a new Flick Cave tour. When I get finished with the new Flick Cave, I will give you a tour. Today was the first day I can see the floor. I cleaned it after living here for 2.5 months. I'm going to redo my setup, how I make videos. I'm changing some things. So once I get it all finalized, I will give you a tour, man. Would you watch the Snyder Cut? Yeah, I'll watch the Snyder. Yes, absolutely. Then I'll make a review video and I'll be critical of it and everyone will hate me for it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut. Yeah, clearly I'll watch it. Come on, man. Night King 01. When is good CG you don't notice Fury Road? Well, yeah, sometimes. Good CG is when you don't notice. Yeah, that is a true statement. And Fury Road did have practical effects with CG. There's some obvious CG in the movie. But overall, it's like they blended it just right. With like they were actually driving cars through the desert, doing things. It's just like, oh, great. You know, I rewatched Fury Road the other week, though. The only thing I don't love about that movie, there's two things. The opening scene where they first capture Mad Max and flip his car over within like 5 seconds of the chase, I didn't like how easily he was overtaken. Like Mad Max is like, he's the man. Like that opening car chase should have lasted a little bit longer. And I feel like they like wrecked his car a little too soon. That was one thing I didn't like. That's one thing I never liked about it. But maybe I'm in the minority. All right. Langdon Lee. When you drink Bang at night, how do you sleep? This doesn't affect me at all. Like, it's barely affecting me right now, to be honest with you. Like, I remember one time during college, I stayed up all night. And I was like, I got to go to school. And I took a 5-hour energy drink. I chugged it. Then I took another one and I chugged it. And then I remember sitting down on my bed, contemplating if I still wanted to go to school that day. And I remember my hands both got really tingly. I laid down, fell asleep, woke up 5 hours later. Like, I don't know. Caffeine, unless I drink or snort it in large quantities, it doesn't do much for me. I don't know. Carter Lovejoy. Thoughts on The Exorcist? Just watch it for the first time just now, the theatrical cut. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen the director's cut of The Exorcist. I like it. I've seen it probably all the way through one time. Obviously, I've seen multiple clips of it. Some crazy shit. Yeah, I love some of the dialogue in that film. Some of the practical effects where her head spins around and pukes. That's always great. But some of the dialogue is hilarious. I love it. It's not. At the time it wasn't hilarious. I can only imagine being in a theater watching that, going ooh. But yeah, it's great. I need to revisit that movie again. So maybe I'll put it on my to-do list for this October. Smellmundo. Last one from old Smellmundo. It's been a wild ride. They said we'd never make it this far, but look at us now. You're such a great lad. Some could say the greatest. A fine lad. Some would argue the finest. Watch out for the Archons and keep an eye on CERN. Archeons? I don't even know what's happening there, but thank you for the compliments, man, and safe travels, Smellmundo. Thank you, man. All right, guys. Another question. All right. Chris Donahue. Off topic, I know Rise of the Skywalker isn't as good as we wanted it to be, but still an entertaining movie and a fun movie. Would you agree with that? Thanks for answering, man. No, I would not agree with any of that. I tried to rewatch it. Now, I hated it the first time. I truly hated it. I could not believe this was the end of the saga. I couldn't believe this is the best script they could come up with. I couldn't comprehend like this. Out of all the ideas, all the money, all the talent, this is how you're going to end it. Okay. And then I tried to rewatch it on Disney Plus, I think maybe like 3 months ago. And I watched like 20 minutes of it. And I was like, this is not a real movie. Like, this is soulless with like a mumbled together script that just feels like they were making it up as they went. I was like, I hated it more the second time. So no, I don't agree it's a fun movie. Now, The Last Jedi, I can rewatch with all of its flaws, with all of its shortcomings, with how Rian Johnson completely undid what the direction that the trilogy was going. I can rewatch that movie. It has some redeeming scenes in it, but yeah, I just can't go back and watch Rise of Skywalker. I just can't do it. Night King 01. Where's the Tenet review, John? That's a great question. Hopefully soon. Actually, I'm thinking this week, to be honest with you. This week would make the most sense. I know it's late, but who cares? I'm glad I waited, because it's not like there's any other new movies to talk about. So I'll talk about it maybe this week. Today's Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe. Yeah, maybe that'll be my Thursday, Friday video. Yeah. And before I go, guys, I'm going to wait and make sure there's no other questions that come in. I don't want to miss them. But if you guys are YouTube members, thank you guys so much for watching and being a YouTube member. And if you guys are a YouTube member, get a question in right now. I'll rapid fire through the YouTube members' questions. But before I go, I've been working on this sponsored video. It's for Baby Ruth and the Goonies. Kind of cool. But right now, if you guys follow me on Instagram, and if you don't, what are you doing? Go do it right now. Follow the Flick Pick on Instagram. There's this contest that you guys can enter in, and this part of the Q&A isn't promoted or anything. It's a really easy contest to enter in that I think you guys will enjoy, and I want you guys to win it because a lot of other YouTubers are talking about it, but I want you guys to win it because fuck them. So here's all you do. If you follow me on Instagram, go to my latest post and you can read the rules to it. But essentially all you have to do on Instagram is put a throwback photo of you and a friend from whenever, just a picture of you and a friend or a family member or whatever. And make sure you include hashtag. What's the hashtag? I just forgot what the hashtag's supposed to be. Best friend sweeps at Baby Ruth Bar. Make sure you include those two things, but make sure you go to my Instagram post and read the rules. And you guys can win like a virtual hangout with Sean Astin, who played Mikey in the Goonies and was also in Lord of the Rings and a whole bunch of other great movies like Encino Man, which I enjoy. It's a guilty pleasure movie of mine. And you can win like a year supply of Baby Ruth bars and the Goonies on 4K and all kinds of cool prizes. And it's that easy to enter in. So please, if you haven't done that, go do it. Just figured I'd mention it to you guys. The next question comes from Ricardo Franco. Hey, Ricardo, how's it going, man? You join in right as we're probably wrapping up the live stream, but nevertheless, I'll stick around for a few minutes. What's up, John? I just caught the end of the stream. What delay are you most upset by? For me, it's the Batman. Has the Batman been officially delayed? Because there was a rumor. There was a fake Twitter post from some bullshit Twitter handle claiming to be movie news, and it's not. So I'm not sure that's been confirmed. Has Warner Brothers officially said the Batman is delayed? If so, that sucks ass. I'm really upset by that. But for me, it's probably the new James Bond movie because I was like, oh, we're going to get a fun action movie in November. Nope. That's probably the one that's most disappointing. It's just the most frustrating. It's like, okay, you changed your release date 3 times. Can you just come out now? So that right there would probably be the one on top of my list right now. But if the Batman, in fact, does get changed, that would be my number one by far. I just can't take it anymore. No more delays. But thanks for the question, Ricardo, man. You're always so generous. Much appreciated, dude. Thank you. Hope you're staying safe over on the West Coast as well. Nathan Taylor, favorite Drew Barrymore movie? Probably E.T. when she was like 5 years old. It's definitely never been kissed. I could go without watching that movie ever again. I don't know. Drew Barrymore. I mean, I guess E.T. I was never a huge Drew Barrymore fan though. Maybe E.T. I go with that. Elliot. Uh, DJ Run 01, biggest age gap between how old is supposed to be and how old they look. Yeah, okay, so you're talking about movies where they don't quite look the age that they're playing. A lot of 80s movies hired actors who were like 28 years old to play teenagers. That was commonplace. I don't know. That's a tough question on the top of my head, man. I'll tell you a fun flick fact, though. In the novella of The Shawshank Redemption, in the novel, it spans another decade into the future, where the characters are supposed to look another 20 years older than they are. But in the movie version, they didn't do that because they could only make Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins look so old and make it believable. So that's why they went back a decade, because the Shawshank Redemption in the book actually goes into the late 70s, I believe, rather than the late 60s. But I don't know if I technically answered your question there. I always thought the prosthetics for some of the characters in Back to the Future 2 were a little heavy. Well, no pun intended, but yeah, like old Biff. His face looked like a ball sack. Okay, I'm looking for any questions I might have missed. Hang on a second, guys. Cliff, I'm pretty sure I answered your question, man. Just type it in right now in the chat and I'll find it. John, would you rather the Spider-Verse movie they're supposedly planning or a Batman version with the previous actors? What? Probably the Spider-Verse would work better. As far as the Batman movie goes, are you talking about the Flash Paradox film? Because that makes sense for that version. Sure, yeah. If you have like an old Michael Keaton in there, I still want to see that as well. But I don't think that'll be those other previous older versions of Batman in a Flash film will have smaller scenes, I believe, compared to like a Spider-Verse movie where I think they're going to share more screen time together. So, but I'd like to see both. Hang on here. Okay, let's get to the questions here. All right. Nathan Taylor, favorite. We answered that. Yavi Big Haas. Hey, John, this isn't a question. Sorry, but I just wanted to say thank you for being part of my life for 8 years. I've always been able to watch your videos to feel better and happy. I feel like we're great friends, man. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for that. And thanks for the super chat. Yeah, that means a lot. It's always interesting when people say like they've been watching for 5 years or 10 years or whatever. I've been doing this for 10 years. This month is 10 years on YouTube. Fucking crazy, dude. But thank you so much. And yeah, that means a lot. I've always like, this is why I do the live streams. Like, this is why I do YouTube. Like, I like this. Doing like jump cut videos and shit, it's just like, that's not interactive. For me, it loses focus for what YouTube really was all about. Beloved Ruby, which show do you think is better, Law and Order or The Practice? Or none? Probably Law and Order Special Victims Unit was always pretty good. I always was entertained by that. Looking for a question here. I guess I supposedly missed earlier, but I don't see it, and I can only go back so far. I thought I answered every question. No, I'm looking for it. Okay. I'm looking. Hang on. By the way, thanks for the question, beloved Ruby. Come on. Did you see Cobra Kai season 3 trailer? I have not technically watched it yet. I haven't. I don't want to though. I want to just watch the show. I don't want anything to be spoiled whatsoever. I'll probably watch the trailer, though, a little bit later. I say that now, but I'll probably end up watching it. Karate Kid or Rocky? Personal connection goes to Karate Kid. The better movie probably would be Rocky, but I think Karate Kid's more rewatchable in my opinion. What do you think of Jamie Foxx playing Mike Tyson? Jamie Foxx does a great Mike Tyson impression, so that's fine by me. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I was seeing if any YouTube members asked questions because I like to get some of your guys' questions in there too, but you guys didn't ask any recently that I can find. I'm scrolling up right now, and I can't find any. Okay. Okay, guys. I think that's going to wrap it up here. Let me make sure because I don't want to miss a question. All right. Dirk Diggler. Time for Pick the Flick. Do you guys want to play if you want to play Pick the Flick? It's where it's a random thing where you guys pick which movie I talk about off my shelf and I randomly talk about it for a few minutes. I can play Pick the Flick and then we can wrap this up. Or I have a Loot Crate box over there I could open that's still sealed from 3 months ago when they sent it to me. I could open that shit as well. I don't have to leave. I can stay as long as you want. It is up to you. You let me know. So let me know in the comments. And if you do want me to stay, if you want me to keep talking, if you want to keep looking at my stupid face a little bit longer, give the video a like. Please? I need it. Yeah, let me know. Let me know as I take a drink of this. And I will wait for your answers and your feedback. Because there is a slight delay on these videos. G Money wants to play Pick the Flick. Okay, G Money. All right, do you guys want to play Pick the Flick? Is that what you guys want to do? I can do that. I mean, hey, the question is, what else do I have to do? And the other question is, what else do you have to do? It is Monday. It's only 11 o'clock. The night is early, right? Especially if you're on the West Coast, it's super early. And there's 444 of you watching right now. So, yeah, I guess we could keep talking here for a little bit longer. All right. All right. You guys want to play Pick the Flick? Okay, so here's how Pick the Flick goes. In about 2 seconds, I'm going to show you a really cringy intro to the Pick the Flick segment. But here's how the game works. You guys pick which movie off my shelf I talk about. And here's how you do it so it's random. You pick which shelf. So you say shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you say which side, left or right. And then you pick how many movies in from that side. So you can say 5 movies in, 2 movies in, 10 movies in. And with those coordinates, I pick a random movie off my shelf to talk about. So yeah, left or right side, which shelf, and how many movies in. Hopefully that makes sense. Ricardo Franco says, Pick the Flick! Ricardo, your super chats are too generous, man. I need to hug you, man. One day, we're going to meet up and I'm going to hug you. And a high five with some baby oil on our biceps. So thank you, Ricardo. All right, so here it goes, guys. Here's the cringeworthy intro. Enjoy this. Where is it? Hang on. There it is. Pick the Flick. Yay! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, guys. So you guys picked the flick off the movie shelf. Fuck. Let me turn my camera. There we go. There we go. There's the shelf back there. So if you guys want to pick one, go for it. Let me know. And I'll run back there and pick it. Then I'll flick it. You guys let me know. Hang on. John Gomez. Left side, 3 down, 8 from the left. Left side, 3 down, 8 from the left. All right. Typically, I could turn the camera, but it's on a mount right now, and I can't. It's not like it's really hard to turn. I don't want to break the mount that it's on, so you're just gonna have to trust me when I go over there and pick them off the shelf. So here's Pretty in Pink, starring Molly Ringwald, who was like really like she was considered like the hot chick in the '80s, even though she sort of had like yellow teeth or something. Never one of my favorite John Hughes movies. Like it's fun. The dudes have perms, but like much prefer like any other John Hughes movie rather than Pretty in Pink. Did you cry when G Baby died? Yeah, a little bit, dude. I really did. I remember that scene. All right. Rob K, third shelf, fourth from the right. Fourth shelf, third shelf, fourth from the right. Okay, let me grab that. I'm back. Okay. The Lost Boys, still in the plastic. I probably bought this 5 years ago. Now, clearly, I've seen this movie multiple times. I just never watched my own Blu-ray of it because it's still sealed. I like The Lost Boys. A Joel Schumacher film. Great movie. I like Corey Feldman in this. I've always liked movies with Corey Feldman in it. For me, as a kid, I always wanted to be friends with like someone like Corey Feldman because I grew up watching like Stand By Me or The Lost Boys. Or movies like License to Drive. So yeah, The Lost Boys. And the opening to this movie is phenomenal. It has the muscular saxophone guy covered in baby oil who still plays the saxophone to this day. All right, Farrell Lovely, fourth shelf, 10th from the left. All right. Hey, it's the over-the-top remake known as Real Steel. This is actually on Netflix right now. I talked about... Where did I talk? I think I talked about this on Stardust. Either way. Not the best movie. I enjoy it, though, because I like to watch giant robots fight. That's entertaining. But this is essentially an over-the-top modern-day remake in so many ways. They clearly copied the blueprint to that film, except this has less baby oil. The thing I hate most about this movie is the little kid that it stars, though. Like, the cringiest part about this entire film is the little annoying kid does, like, this really cringe-inducing dance sequence with his robot. And I'm like, why is this in this movie? Why did they tack that in there? It added nothing. But I like Real Steel. Okay, I'm going to take a few more here. Hang on, where are we at? Hang on. All right. No more. I'm going to do like one more. Okay, one more. Night King 01, third row, 10th from the left. Tim Burton, man. Yeah, Edward Scissorhands. Another. This is kind of. Well, I guess it's kind of a Christmas movie, but I could watch this in October as well. Yeah, I love this. This is. I'm trying to think of anything unique to say about it that hasn't been said already. Oh, here's a side story. When I was a kid and I watched this, and I watched Edward Scissorhands trim up bushes, like he made them look like dinosaurs or something. I tried to do that one day as a kid. I think I was 7 years old. I went in my grandparents' backyard. I took the hedge clippers and I tried to make a dinosaur out of the bush. And that didn't work. And the tree died. That's a true story. So yeah, Edward Scissorhands inspired me to destroy a tree in my grandparents' backyard. All right. Obed Orzaga says, thoughts on He Got Game. Spike Lee movie. I think I watched that one time when it came out. I don't recall anything about it. Denzel Washington was the kid's dad in the movie, but I don't remember anything about it. Okay, last one, since Night King 01 asks, second row, 6 from the right. Okay, no more pick the flick. So let me pick this one last one since you did leave a super chat and I leave no man left behind. Second row, 6 from the right. Oh, you guys, I like when you guys make these easy. Sometimes people say like third shelf, 28th in. I have to go count. So anyway, Hateful Eight, which is still in the plastic, by the way. Do I own this on 4K? Is this? I feel like I own this on 4K. Is it even on 4K? I feel like I do. Anyway, Hateful Eight. I rewatch this a few times a year, and you're thinking, no, you don't, John. It's still in the plastic. Well, I do, because it's been on Netflix for like the last 3 years, and I rewatch it all the time. The Hateful Eight for me is one of my favorite Tarantino movies, and I like it more every time I watch it. Now, a lot of people say this has little to no rewatch value, but for me, the entire tone of this movie is what gives it so much rewatch value. I love films that take place in one location, one environment, and I sort of like the mystery whodunit vibe. And even though I've seen this movie multiple times and I know the outcome of it, it's still so fascinating. And plus, it being a Tarantino film, he can make simple dialogue truly fascinating just to sit there and listen to. Like, I'm just enamored with the small little details you can pick up rewatching this movie over and over. Just some of the things the characters say to each other. And plus, this is one of those movies I love to watch in the wintertime because it does take place in a cabin and they're all shut in there and there's a blizzard outside. I love movies like that. So, yeah, Hateful Eight. Okay, that'll be the last one. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And it was fun. It's not on 4K. Okay, I didn't think so. I figured this was the only version I had. Okay. Sometimes my brain can't quite remember everything. Well, it should be on 4K. Maybe soon it will. All right. I like The Hateful Eight more than Django. Such a great film. Yeah, I like Django more. I think Django for me is like the perfect amount of adventure and Tarantino. And plus, I like the Western vibe of it. And Hateful Eight has a Western vibe too. I feel like Django takes you on more of an adventure. But yeah, Django is probably my favorite Tarantino movie though. Alrighty, guys. I'm getting really hungry. Yeah, I'm getting really hungry. So I think, do you guys want me to keep going? Somebody just said to keep going. They said, please. And because you said, please, I kind of don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you guys hanging, man. That's not what a bro does. No. Django is super racist except for Samuel L. Jackson's part. I mean, well, it's a movie about slavery. I mean, if racism wasn't part of it, the movie wouldn't work. But then that's the thing about the movie, though. Like, he's getting retribution towards the racist people that enslaved him and his wife. That's the whole purpose. There has to be racism in Django Unchained. It's a movie about slavery. You can't have one without the other. But I mean, the payoff, though, the vengeance in that film that's amazing. Oh, I'm about to die. All right, guys. If you guys want, I can stick around, and there's one other thing I can do. I didn't plan on doing this at all. I was not going to do this. I have a Loot Crate box over there that's brand new, sealed, that was sent to me like 3 months ago. I could open it right now if you guys would like an unboxing randomly at the end of this live stream. If you want. I don't have to do it. I don't know what's in it. I don't know anything about it. Favorite Corey Feldman movie? Probably Stand By Me or License to Drive. You guys let me know if you want me to open in some Loot Crate boxes and shit. G Money said go eat. Well, since you told me, I'm getting a lot of yeses, nos, maybes. You guys have to decide this. Listen, I'm a clown here for your entertainment. You tell me what to do. You tell me what to do and I'll do it. All right, guys, I will open up this loot crate. I'm going to open up the loot crate. I don't care. I've been waiting 3 months because what happened was this was sent to my old address. Then we moved. It was in a box for the last 2 months, and I finally found it today. I was like, I'm going to open this at some point, but I wasn't planning on today being the day. So yeah, you guys, okay, I'll open the loot crate. And by the way, thanks to all 430 of you still watching right now. Much appreciated, guys. All right, let's open up the loot crate. And give me 1 second. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. And then we'll come back and open up the loot crate. So if you guys want to get another drink, now's the time. And I'll be right back. I just want you guys to remember something. During this pandemic, when everyone else left you and delayed you, I was still here for you. I want you to remember that, okay? All right, so here's the loot crate. Here's the loot crate that was sent to me. I think I was supposed to put an affiliate link somewhere in my description box so you guys could buy this or something. But either way, if Loot Crate you're watching right now, here's your unboxing. Okay. All right. Now I just have to open it somehow. Hang on. Okay. All right. Unboxing time. I'm excited. Okay, so it's kind of like a Scooby-Doo thing. Scooby-Doo Auto Shade. Cool. Let's check it out. So it's one of those things you put in the windshield of your car so the sun doesn't damage your dashboard. I'll probably never use this. But here it is. Hang on. Actually, I lied. I will use this. Check this out. That's fucking that's awesome. Okay, I like that actually. I was not expecting to like that as much as I just did. Oh man, okay. This is a great box. The next thing we have here is the world famous Biff Tannen's Hill Valley, California Pleasure Paradise Hotel and Casino. Okay, no clue what's in there. Let's check it out. Ah, sweet. Okay, so it's like a deck of cards and some like chips. Okay, cool. Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise. That's awesome. I wish I had a t-shirt that had that on there. Okay, not bad. That's pretty neat. Here's a towel. It's a Ghostbusters towel. What is on this? Oh, it's a okay, it's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man towel. It didn't look like marshmallow material. It looked like skin with like boils or something. But that's pretty cool. Okay. Hey, actually, I'm going to put this in my bathroom or I'm going to put it in my kitchen as a hand towel. Yeah. Okay. All right. Ooh, check this out. It's the mech version of Godzilla. It's like a little plush toy. Let's set that back here. Actually, I'm gonna throw it on the floor because I can't set it back there. The next thing we have here is an X-Files Fight the Future. What is this? A poster hung in Mulder's office boldly stating, "I want to believe." Oh, so it's a poster. I will open it up. So it's really not a poster. It's like a little standee thing. It's like plastic with a base on it, with a UFO up there. All right. This is a pretty loaded box. Holy shit. I think this is the premium Loot Crate box. Maybe. It's got a question here. The Legion of Regrettable Supervillains, featuring the 50 strangest supervillains in the history of comics. Now that right there is good bathroom reading material. If your phone ever dies and you're in the bathroom and you need something to ease the pain, this is the kind of book you leave in the bathroom. And I mean that. That is like... So it kind of gives you the scoop on every random superhero. And I like the artwork in here. It's like a lot of classic artwork. Let's find a random super villain in here. Minuteman. The one-man army. Okay, I'll read that later. Oh. See this? Okay, I'm excited about this right here. This is something I've been meaning to buy for years. Check it out. It's a sleeping mask. That is nice. That is convenient. I've actually wanted one of those. Is this... Who is this? Is this Mr. Freeze? Who is this supposed to be? To me, that looks like Mr. Freeze from the animated Batman series. But maybe I'm wrong. That's Mr. Freeze, right? Okay. Oh, and here's another book in here. The League of Regrettable Superheroes. So I guess this is like the worst superheroes of all time. More bathroom reading material. Whenever I get Loot Crates or Geek Boxes in the past, the least favorite thing I get are the pins. Who uses pins? Not the pins you write with, but the little pins you stick on shit. I'll never use those. And then you have fun comics, kind of like a retro comic book right here. Okay, pretty cool. All right, guys. So that's the random Loot Crate unboxing. I hope you really enjoyed it. And by the way, if you guys want to check out Loot Crate, there's no link down below, but you guys know where to find them. You're smart. Okay. I got a few questions while I was opening up that. Alberto AVR, favorite Asian movies, open the box, laugh out loud. Favorite Asian movies? I got a lot of favorite South Korean films, but straight up Asian movies? What would be my favorite Asian movie? That's an interesting question. Let me think on that. I will get back to you on that. I promise. Let me think about it. My favorite Asian movie. I'm going to think about it. I don't know. The first Ring movie was a Japanese film. That was pretty crazy. Let me think about it, though. Yeaman John, best Francis Ford Coppola film, The Godfather or Apocalypse Now? Probably The Godfather 2, I would say, overall. But I don't know. I'd probably rather rewatch Apocalypse Now. I would say, just because I just like the Vietnam War and I like the helicopter scene with the music playing in the background. Yeah, so... I don't know. What are your guys' favorite Asian movies? I'm gonna Google it right now and make sure there's because South Korea always I guess you could consider the Raid Redemption one. I don't know why I separate that South Korea. I separate it. But if you want to talk South Korean films. Oh man, Old Boy, Parasite are just a few I really enjoy. Someone said Crazy Rich Asians. I never watched Crazy Rich Asians. I just never did. G Money says, I'm going to bed soon. Good night. Stay magical and mystical. Well, thanks, man. And sleep tight. Dream of me. Or have nightmares of me. Either way. John Gomez, 420 people here. Yay. Are there 420 or is it 402? There's 402. You're dwindling. It's getting late. All right, guys. I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I stayed like 45 minutes longer than I thought I was going to. But hey, either way, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking around and just showing some support. Really appreciate it. If you guys love to super chat or Streamlabs, thank you so much. It does mean a lot. It does help. And just thanks for watching. Either way, guys, I'm going to take off now. Stay safe. Have a good night. And yeah, I think I'm so hungry I'm losing my mind. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and by the way, look out for a new Flick Trip video. I'll post it tomorrow, right here on this channel. It's a new Flick Trip going to Family Video, but it's closing, which was kind of sad. But look out for that. Take care. Bye-bye.